to consolidate your Windows file shares onto a highly available platform. So if you saw my video on installing the VNX, you saw that we created a file server, but we didn't enable the CIFS protocol, SMB, on that server. So let's go back and create another shared folder server. So I have a wizard to do that right here. We'll give this a new name, call this file 2. So let's give it an IP address that's on the same subnet as my Windows clients. So I have a wizard to do that right here. And a new gateway. We'll give this a new name, call this file 2. So let's give it an IP address that's on the same subnet as my Windows clients. If I look at advanced, I can see that I can pin this to a specific interface, and that's what I'll do here. And a new gateway. We'll give this a new name. That interface is going to be connected to my 27 IP address that's on the same subnet as my Windows client as a storage area network for my ESX servers. This time I'll enable the CIFS protocol and disable NFS. I need to specify what domain I'm adding this to. My domain is called demo local. And I need a DNS server that can resolve that domain. So why not just give it the domain controller itself? Now I need to supply an account that has domain administrator privileges. This will allow the VNXE to create this server and then add it as a computer in the Active Directory itself. So I'll put in administrator and my domain password. So I'll review this information to make sure it's accurate, and I can commit. Okay, so now I have my new server on the network. I can provision storage on it. So I'll go up here to Shared Folders, and I'll click Create. Now this is the name of the file system that I'm creating, so I'll call it Share 1. And this time I have 2 file servers to choose from, so we'll be doing this on file 2, so I'll select that. We'll do a small one, 10 gigabytes, and we'll then provision it. If I look in advance, I can do things like enable dedupe and compression, file level retention for compliance, and a few other options. So we'll go ahead and enable deduplication and compression. This is particularly effective on Windows file systems, particularly where you're storing home directories because you have a lot of duplicate files in that directory structure. Okay, so now we need to create the Windows share. Now this is the name that you'll see on the network when we publish a share in Active Directory. And again, I have the option of creating space for storage as well as a snapshot schedule. I'm going to go with the default schedule that says I'll take a snapshot each day at 3 a.m. and I'll keep it for a week. The system is going to recommend the size for the protection space. Here it's recommending that my Windows space be 100% of my primary storage size. And again, that will auto adjust if I change the size of the primary data store. Now once the system creates the file system in the shared folder itself, it'll also log into the Active Directory server and create the shared folder, and then I'll go and manage it from there. Again, I have the option of setting up replication here, but we'll save that for our data protection video. Okay, so here are the details of the Windows share that I just created. We've got the general information. I can look at capacity, protection size, snapshots if I had any. I can set up replication here if I like. I can create additional shares on the same file system as well. And of course I can configure deduplication here. Let's go to a client machine and see if we can access this new storage. I've got a Windows 7 machine here. It's on the same domain as the VNXE and the domain controller. So I should be able to map this storage as a drive. All right, so we'll map network drive. The server we created is called file2, and we created a share called home directory. And that was pretty easy. So I've got a Z drive now that's mapped to the share on the VNXE. Here are the details, 10 gigabytes. Let's put some data in here. I'm going to take my favorite picture of penguins, and we'll put that in the new directory. Now we'll go back to the VNXE and I'll show you how snapshots work for Windows file systems. So if I look under storage and shared folders, I'll bring up the details of this share. And I'll go to the snapshot tab. Now I'll take a manual snapshot right now. The name is by default the timestamp, and the retention policy is 7 days. I can change either of those if I like. All right, so now I have a point-in-time copy of my Windows file system. Let's go back to the client machine, and let's say someone deletes my picture of the penguins. Really sad to see that go. Now if I look, it's gone from the directory, but if I right-click on that drive and say Restore Previous Versions, the Windows machine will see the snapshots that I've created. And here it is with a timestamp. I can open that snapshot, and there are my penguins. So I can copy this single file and restore that to the primary directory. So that's how you would enable users to do single file restores based on the snapshots that you take with the VNXE. Okay, let's look at how you would manage these file shares on an ongoing basis. We don't expect users to do all their Windows file share management from the VNXE console. You want to use Microsoft Management Console, MMC. So from any machine on the domain where you've logged in as administrator, you can use MMC to manage the file share that you created on the VNXE. Just connect to another computer and select the file2 server that we created on the VNXE, and here it is. So if I look under System Tools, I should be able to find the file shares that I created and manage them. All right, here under Shared Folders, Shares, here's the share that I created. So you can do pretty much anything to this file server that you could a regular Windows file server from this interface. And EMC offers an additional set of tools that help make that even better. We have plugins for MMC for doing things like creating shares and setting ACLs, home directory management application. We support group policy objects, SMB signing, as well as security logs and monitoring and auditing features. If you go a step further and purchase the security and compliance suite, you have more Basel II. We also have integration with a lot of popular antivirus agents so that you can scan and protect files that reside in the file shares on the VNXE. To do that, you need the VNXE event